The Texas rig. No need for long intros. Let's get right into it. I like to call the Texas rig the all-terrain vehicle of bass fishing. You can use it in shallow water. I like to use it offshore in brush piles and different types of cover. But in shallow water around docks, brush piles, it is the thing to use. Let's get right into how I set it up and the baits that I use on my Texas rig. All right, so we are going to go over the rod, the line, the baits that I like to use, and of course, the reel, and a few other products that I think will come in handy in the setup for you. So the Texas rig is a setup that I always keep tied on and have it ready on my boat because you never know when you're going to pull up on a nice laydown or a brush pile that you find on your live imaging 360 or on your side imaging that you will need to kind of get something that can get into the thickest parts of that cover and make it back out. All right, so first, the thing that I told you, the top 3 baits that I like to throw on my Texas rig are going to be a creature bait. And for me, I like the Zoom products. And I'm not sponsored by any of these products, guys. So if you have a creature bait that you feel works for you, you have to go with what you're confident with. But for me, I like the Zoom Z Craw. This right here is the Z Craw Junior. And I like the action on this. I like the ribbed side on there. And basically, this allows me to put the coloring and the dye that I like to use, which is the JJ's. There we go. JJ's is what I like to put to add a little scent and the different colors that I like to use on the Z Craw. So that is my top bait, the number 1 thing that I use. And pretty much anytime when I'm going to be casting into thick laydowns or just brush piles, things like that, this will be my first choice. The next thing that I like to use is the brush hog. I know a lot of people don't think of throwing this on a Texas rig whenever you're fishing brush piles, laydowns, things like that. But this has been known to catch some very big fish also, guys. So that brush hog. And also the other thing to keep in mind is I do like to add a little scent to that using my JJ's Magic. And with that, I will pretty much keep the chartreuse and a little hidden secret, guys. They also have a color, I think it's just called red, but it's kind of like a blood red color. Using that in combination with the chartreuse, it'll get the job done. All right, and the next thing that I like to use, guys, is a worm. And the size of that worm is going to depend on pretty much the lake that I'm fishing and the size of the fish that that lake is known to have. So if it is a lake that is known for having bigger fish, I will go with the Zoom Old Monster 10.5. And you can see it, that is a ribbon tail worm. And I will throw this in shallow and deep water whenever I'm out on the ledges. When I see a brush pile or some other type of cover that I want to be able to get that bait through, then I would definitely pick up that Zoom Old Monster and throw this whenever I'm looking for those bigger fish. If it is a lake that is known for having some smaller fish, then I may go with the Mag 2. And if you take a look, you kind of see the difference in size between those two. This is a lot of plastic, guys. So once you've used this for a while, you get a few bites on it, the plastic will begin to tear. I don't like throwing these away and just wasting money is what I call it. So what I do is I use a product called Mended. And I will put a link down in the description for all of these products, guys. Right now, there are discounts going on, and there is a 10% discount on Tackle Warehouse gift cards. Make sure you take advantage of that. So the Mended, this will allow you to fuse those baits back together. This is not a glue, but it kind of melts the plastic back together and allows you to continue using those plastics whenever they're starting to get torn up. And actually, if you're in a situation where you're kind of low on that bait, and maybe that is the color that they're biting, and say you only have 2 or 3 left, you want to be able to keep reusing those as long as you can. So make sure that Mended is a product that you have readily available so you can keep those baits good and ready to go. So I have shown you the baits. I have shown you the extra products that I use, JJ's Magic and Mended. Check the links in the description. And now the line that I like to use. My main preference is using Seaguar AbrazX line because I do like to throw this in rocks also. So my Texas rig, I will be bringing this through some rough stuff, guys. It will be laydowns. Sometimes it will be rocks. Sometimes a mixture of rocks and laydowns. So I want something that is tough that will be able to still survive a hook set, a strong hook set, guys. Whenever I am trying to get those fish to the boat, even after the line may have a few nicks in it. So there we go. That Seaguar is what I like to use for that. This can get kind of expensive using that Seaguar AbrazX. So in some cases, I do like to use the red label. This is still a tough line. And for me, I have found that it does resist nicks and things like that a little bit better than the APIELE. But APIELE is something that I keep on deck also. But like I said, these are the two ones that I like to use, the AbrazX or the red label. Last but not least, the reel and the rod. All right, so for the rod, I pretty much like to use around a 7-foot or 7.3 heavy or extra heavy, guys. That is pretty much the way that I roll out there on the lake. I will use that 7-foot when I'm fishing more shallow water where I may be in tight places like a dock or something where I kind of have to make more of a precision cast. I will stay with something around that 7-foot or 7'3". Whenever I am fishing laydowns or open water, maybe offshore or something like that. And like I said, laydowns, guys, I will bump this up to a 7-10 extra heavy. Micro Magic. Now for the reel, I like a high gear ratio reel, guys. And for me, this 13 fishing reel, I like the braking system on here. I like the long cast that I can get with it. And this one is I believe it's an 8-to-1 gear ratio reel. So I like something that is very fast so I can get those fish back to the boat. Or if I need to make another cast, I can get that bait in and get that cast right back out there. The last thing that I wanted to throw in is the line bag, guys. This Bass Mafia line bag, link is in the description, comes in very handy with protecting all of my line. So when you look in here, you can store, let's see, how many is that? About 10 or 15 different lines. You can feed that line right through here to spool it to make it real simple whenever you're out there on the boat. Each one of them have its own compartment. If you look in there, you will see the individual compartment for each one of those baits. So this right here is very helpful, protects your line, keep it from getting nicked and things like that, and protect it from the heat and the sun. Definitely something to look into. All right, guys, there you have it. That is my setup for the Texas rig. And we went over a little bit of how I fish it and what situations that I pretty much like to use that Texas rig for. I call it the all-terrain vehicle of bass fishing. I hope that helped you guys out. Make sure you hit the like button and please subscribe to the channel. Also, guys, every Tuesday, 8 p.m., the live stream. You definitely want to tune into the live streams. We have some great fun. Hope to see you then. Check the description, guys. I'll see you on the next video.